Firstly, on trucks and tech, we talked about the Tata LPT 1216, which is our 10-ton truck, and we had an exciting time even reading through your comments that people didn't know of the existence of the 1216 in terms of how it's versatile and everything. Now, we promised you at the end of that video that we will be talking about the 1216's younger or smaller brother, and today on set, guess who we have? The Tata LPT 809. Well, it's an interesting truck, but before we get to walk around, remember to subscribe to Trucks and Tech, and be sure we will be glad to share with you more of such videos. Now, let's start with the cabin. Similar cabin to the 1216, I believe so. Normal headlights, this signature Tata face. As you can see, there's a mirror up here for telling you what to do when you're approaching a wall. It's very, very essential, especially when you're going into warehouses or buildings to collect cargo. Very, very, very essential. But the cabin looks almost exactly, it's like a carbon copy of the 1216, only that this is smaller. Let's take a walk around, and then we will be telling you more. There's nothing much here aside from a size 17.5 wheel. Apollo is the stock wheel that comes with this truck. Oh, it's locally assembled. So, buy Kenya, build Kenya. We start where we started yesterday. We will start with the engine and the gearbox. Engine is right inside there. You can see there are some filters there. That is the fuel filter somewhere. There's an oil filter. There's a water filter. There's just a number of filters on this vehicle. But the engine is in there. The gearbox is here. This is the Tata GBS Synchromesh 5-speed gearbox. It has 5 forward and 1 reverse. It's right there. Then the propeller shaft takes itself from the gearbox inside there all the way to the diff, where we'll come to it. But again, a signature Tata design is a fuel purification system. What this is important for is it lets you know ile mafuta umeweka kama ni chafu, it will tell you, and it will help you correct where you are fueling. Now, the tank is not the biggest of what we have in the 5-ton category. This is a 120 liters diesel tank, and it's, you know, you can, depending on how you're driving, an average of between 5 to 7 kilometers per liter of diesel is good or fair enough. The rear semi-elliptical leaf spring, or the suspension is leaf spring. We don't have the luxury of airbags over here, both front and rear ones. Then we come to the rear wheel. It's a 4x2 lorry with the size 17.5 rim or tire size. Now, at the back of the truck, it's similar to the 1216 in that you just have the wheel, not the wheel, the lights and the reflective strip, which will come in handy, especially at night. Really, really, really important. Oh, this doesn't mean when you build a body you ignore. You'll have to put the ones that are supposed to be on the body to complement with this one. Now, we still have the same Apollo size 17.5 spare wheel over here. I believe we've spoken about the suspension, which is the leaf spring. The diff is inside over here, together with the 2 braking chambers, which we will at length discuss. There's one there, there's another one. The propeller shaft gets into the diff over there. And similar to the 1216, we have a pressure chamber over there and 2 tanks over here, which help us with the dual S-cam full circuit air brake, which we will discuss at length when we are on the road. Similar to the 1216 again, is this part over here where it disengages when there's an issue with the propeller shaft, either from the gearbox or from the diff. And thus, this happens so that we can protect both components without damage. Now, the exhaust system is over here with the fumes exiting there. Now, if you modify this, let's say to have a small tanker, then this system is taken from the back side, it's moved to the front, because you know we cannot have exhaust fumes juu ya chini ya tanka ya mafuta. It's like driving a lit vehicle, pun intended. 12-volt battery. This one uses a single battery as opposed to dual, like what we saw on the 1216. So basically, we've seen almost everything is the same from the 1216. The only difference is that this is a smaller truck. Now, we will get into the cabin. And before we do that, the air, I know you're asking, there's no air purification system. There is, it's only that it's not as elaborate as what we saw on the 1216. So there's an internal mechanism to ensure that the air purification system, the air system goes round without issue. So this is the chassis length. You can fit a tank, not a tanker only, you can fit a body that will basically do about 5 tons of cargo. Very ideal for hardwares, very ideal to people who are dealing with concrete works, very ideal for just a truck to do last mile transport of cargo amounting to about 5 to about 6 tons. This is the truck, and we will be telling you much more about it after we come back from this break. The 809 is a modest yet still powerful truck. It features a Tata TCIC 497 Euro 2 engine that has 4 inline cylinders and a displacement of 3,783 cc. Now, what does this engine do in terms of output? Number one, it gives you a respectable 90 horsepower at 2,400 RPM. And number two, it gives you a respectable torque of 325 Newton meters at between 1,300 to 1,600 RPM. Now, these numbers may not look the biggest that we have seen in the market, but what do they do in terms of how do they help this truck to haul cargo? Like its older brother, or like its larger brother, the 1216, this is also versatile, only that the versatility is limited to about 5 tons of cargo. Yes, we may want to put a tipper on this, but look at it this way. Is it practical really to put a tipper on an 809? Because you have the hydraulic system that you need to fit there, the tipper body, the tipping mechanism. So we just have to use reason to know how versatile we can adopt this. So number one, schools. If you're looking for a school bus, I have a picture of a school bus, by the way, that's been done on the 809 power plant, and it looks really, really amazing. Number two, we are talking about people who are doing last mile transport, transporting of gas, like progas, transporting of farm produce from the farm to the market. Then this is the ideal truck, because one, you can put either a fully enclosed body, a slightly wide body, so you can carry a few mattresses and water tanks over here, or you can put an open body to carry mahindi and tandarua. People from Marakwet, for instance, wale wakuleta matunda Eldoret, we know the mango season is almost here, and we are about to go bananas with mangoes in the market. Now, the 809 is ideal because with this engine, with this power, hizo milima za Kapsoar going all the way to Rimoi hazita tusumbua. So the 809 becomes that versatile truck. Now we're going to get in a short while so that we can tell you much more from the cabin and how this truck feels on the road. So my guy, let's see how kuingia kwa gari ni ngumu ama si ngumu. Very simple. We open the door and we, just like the 1216, the only difference is we don't have the 2 steps because it's slightly lower. So you just hold here. Let me clear my seat. Done a few things over here. Just, hold in there. And you come in. Now, before we hit the road, I need you to know this, that the seat is also adjustable based on your weight. So if you're, kama umekula kama mimi, or you are as light as my photographer or my videographer, who today tumemwekea jiwe mbili ndio asibebwe na upepo. If you're as light as him, then the seat will still be able. It's movable, as you can see. I can take it forward, but you see, for me, I can't drive here because I'll be so uncomfortable. So I prefer the seat to be way back. Now, when we come back, we'll tell you more about the cabin, and after the cabin, we'll take it to the road and do something much more. Trucks and Tech, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Trucks and Tech. Tata LPT 809 video story review. Now, there is no much difference apart from size between the dashboard, between the cabin of the 1216 and the 809. So we will start with the things that we basically know. My steering is here, power steering, my indicator and power knob over here. It's a manual vehicle. Now, instead of the handbrake being here like the 12610, the handbrake is over here. You just pull it up, which we will demonstrate as we go to the road. Now, this is a compartment where you can choose to fix in an FM radio. There's a 12-volt charger placed over here. I'm sure you're wondering what are these for. Now, this unit doesn't come with a blower or AC. You have to do it by yourself. There's aftermarket ACs that you can fix on this vehicle. There's a compartment over here that you can store your things and customers stuff over there. Kenya Power, where tukosange stima kwa gari, and then it's that fluorescent white color over here. I love to call this small AC. It's just a window because now we don't have an air conditioning system inside the vehicle that you need. Now, it sits 3 passengers in the cabin, the driver and 2 passengers, so possibly your turn boy and the owner of the goods that you're carrying behind. So how does this vehicle sound on the road? Like I said in the previous, like I said previously, that this features a 5-speed gearbox. There's a reverse, there's 2, 4, 1, 3, 5. So you need to know and you need to time the configuration really right so that you don't misengage the gear. So vehicle is on neutral, as it always be. The handbrake is down, so we're gonna power on and then we hit the road and tell you much more how does it feel. So before we do that, I'm a belt up, so let me grab onto the safety belt, which, by the way, it feels like it's hugging you, you know. So outside I love the distance because I'm not that tall, but at the same time I'm not short, so I don't want to be very far from the steering. I also want that comfort to enable me to maneuver 1 or 2 things. Now, to start the vehicle, it's on neutral, so just gonna power it on. Easy and simple. Starts very easily. Clutch in, as we always do. Clutch in, the clutch is in. So with this one, I don't need to start with 1. I don't need to engage 1, though we start with 2. So 2 is just straight ahead. We're in 2. Now this is the handbrake part where it comes in. You see where my finger is? Just grab onto it, pull it down, and lift it up. And then we check on the road. My mirrors are all set, so we check on the road as we lift up slowly, as we lift off slowly, so that we hit the road. I'm gonna close the window because we don't want to have noise interruptions. It's all clear. So yeah, we're on gear number 2. It also has a feature called the dual S-Cam air brake, which we hope will be able to demonstrate much more easier, because again, this vehicle is different from the 1216. Now I'm onto the 3rd. I know we don't have weights, so it picks up real quick, but even with weights or a container or a body, you can feel it picking. Already at 5, but the fun is about to be over because there's a bump right ahead. So let's take the bump and then try and pick up the pace.